So hi everyone, welcome to Tauke Talks. Before we begin, I would just like to inform everyone about the agenda for this session. So I will go through some of the guidelines that we all have to follow throughout the session. And then we will go into introduction, which is where we will get to know a little bit more about Ivan and also his business, Havan Clothing. And then we will go into a sharing session, which is where Ivan will be telling us all about his entrepreneurship journey. And then we will go into a Q&A session, which is where we will be answering your questions that you ask Ivan when you sign up for the session. And also at any point of time when you ask the questions in the chat box. And then we will close the whole session by announcing our next Tauke Talks and where you can find out more about RYSE programs. So firstly, please be reminded that the guidelines of the Tauke Talk sessions are, please stay muted and turn off your video while you're in this Zoom call. And if you have any questions for Ivan at any point of time, please leave them in the chat box and our team will compile them and I will be asking them during the Q&A session. And also, please use respectful language because this whole session will be recorded. Right, so my name is Kerjane again, and I'll be your host for this evening. Welcome to Tauke Talks, a series of sharing sessions where small but mighty business owners share about their motivation on why they started their business and the story behind their journey. And this sharing session is brought to you by RYSE, a Malaysian research and social outreach project that empowers Malaysian youth through entrepreneurship. And RYSE is proudly supported by Citi Foundation. And we at RYSE believe that entrepreneurship is not just confined to the big startups that uses advanced technology, but also for the small and mighty businesses like Havan Clothing. And RYSE aims to showcase stories of such small local businesses that are still persevering in this circumstance. So I'm really happy to welcome our guest for today, Ivan, the founder of Havan Clothing. Hi, Ivan.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be
Hello.
here.
It's really nice to have you, Ivan.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, so Ivan, can you tell us a little bit more about your business?
Sure. My name is Ivan. So I started this. I'm one of the co-founder for Havan Clothing. So Havan Clothing is a social enterprise. Our mission is to empower underprivileged children through fashion and EQ classes. So the reason why we are doing that is because one of the research shows that kids living in shelter homes or orphanages, they are 10 times more likely to become sex workers, 40 times more likely to have criminal records, and 500 times more likely to commit suicide. And we believe the problems are due to the lacking in self-esteem and self-confidence due to the abandonment from their parents, which leads them to self-harm or self-victimization. Which is why Havan Clothing, as mentioned, our mission is to empower the children through our fashion. So all our clothing design were inspired by our children. And for every item sold, we will use part of our proceeds to use to sustain our EQ learning program to empower the kids to build up their confidence level. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So empowering children through fashion.
Yep.
So if everyone, you are interested in finding out more about Havan Clothing, do visit their social media, which is on the slides here, and also do visit their website as well. So now, Ivan, let's zoom in a little bit more about your entrepreneurship journey, right? So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to start Havan Clothing.
All right. So I always I think the story has to come back to when I was about 28 or 27 to 28 years old. That's where I hit my quarter life crisis. Where quarter life crisis, we started to like question ourselves: who am I? What's our purpose in life, and all that stuff. All that stuff. That was the time that I started to question: am I going to be like a finance manager for the rest of my life, and all that? Those kind of questions has been asked throughout the whole year of my during that 27 or 28 years old back then, and then I feel like there's something really lacking in me, in the sense like I want to make some impact, positive impact towards my community, but that time I just couldn't know how and what to do about it. And I guess because I'm having that kind of like a crisis, like that kind of identity crisis, that's where I I started to pay attention towards things that will make me like things that will interest me in the sense like will make me wanted to consider trying on and all that stuff. So I'm becoming very aware in the sense like whatever opportunity comes to me, and I just want to like be adventurous enough to try. So I guess the first step for like what's really inspired me in the sense is because of that crisis somehow pushes me to the age where I wanted to make a difference, not just for others, but for myself. Yeah.
I see. So what really started it was your quarter life crisis, right? When you
Yeah,
started
correct,
asking a
correct.
lot of different questions about
Yes.
your life purpose and stuff. So I guess my question now is, why through clothing?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Well, I guess maybe I share a little bit more like the stories behind like how from the crisis itself, how do I discover wanting to empower the shelter home children's or the orphans. So like as you mentioned, the whole Havan Clothing's journey started off with the crisis itself, and I think one of the year, like my previous employer, when I was still working with my previous employer, they had these CSR activities. Like they are one of the listed company in Malaysia. So they have these CSR activities that obligations that they have to have every single year. So I think one of the bosses just came over to me and say that, hey, Ivan, you'll be in charge of this kind of CSR activities, plan something for the companies and all that stuff. So and that was like a moment for me, like I feel like a little bit like it really sparked a little bit of joy because I feel like I had I finally I have the opportunity to try something different, and that something different will impact other people. So so I think that time we had this we have the celebrating Christmas in one of the shelter home children in KL. So I was really excited about the whole agenda. Like I plan what kind of food that we bring in, what kind of donations, stuff that we're gonna bring for the kids, the toys, the stationaries, the bags, KFC, Milos, and all that stuff. I planned a lot of stuff, and then I planned carol songs, like 5 songs. I learned about the guitar, singing about it, and then playing some instruments. I was really excited having that kind of experience with the kid, and I'm really looking forward to that. So and fast forward, like after we have celebrated the Christmas with the kids and all that stuff, when I went back home, I was really excited because I wanted to tell my wife that, hey, today I have done something great for the kids, for our community, and that I feel good about myself and all that stuff, right? So so I told my wife, and she wasn't that excited and or happy about it. And then instead she some sort of like highlighted something that kids who being abandoned in this shelter home, a lot of corporates doing CSR is like a touch and go basis. It's like one time they go in, take pictures, celebrate, sing song, whatever it is, and then that's it. They move on to the next CSR activities. And during that moment, kids having interaction with those people is just like a one-off a relationship. So kids would never learn about trust in relationship because they will know this koko, this jeje, or this kakak abang will be like come and go anytime, right? So that's when my wife told me about that. She said that dealing with kids when it comes to CSR or any charity activity, when it comes to dealing with kids, has to be extra sensitive because of that. That really makes me feel um, uh, 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 totally opposite of what I've been feeling all this while. I thought she would be the one that really proud of me because of all that stuff that I've done, right? But then after she's been like saying that kind of thing, it's like a slap in my face, and then that's where I felt like there's something wrong with that approach, because she's right. I feel like I was really mad about it, because at the same time I feel like she's right about uh, um, the things that she said. So I went back home, went back to the office, and then I tried to convince my management, saying that, hey, let's not do this like one time. Let's try to engage with those kids on the weekly basis, monthly basis, or even quarterly basis. Let's just not let the kids like hanging there, like doing one time and one off. But during the time, it was really like my previous employers, the whole business model is not about doing CSR. So their main focus is not about that. So most of the management would probably just like don't really take the whole idea seriously. So that and then I was really beaten up, and I feel really upset for months. I think like I'm feeling very disappointed towards myself for like maybe 2 to 3 months time. And then that's where I started questioning why I have such a heavy emotion towards that event. And that's where I started questioning, like, is there something like in that kind of a disappointment? Is there some kind of message? Is it some kind of hidden message that is that I'm supposed to be put myself out there to find out even more? So I remember like I was disturbed for 3 months and all that stuff, and then I went back home. I told my wife that this stuff, like the things that you said, still bother me. Like it doesn't make me feel good and all that stuff. I'm trying to put all the blame towards her lah. And then she was saying that, okay, so if the management they don't want to do the CSR or going back to engage with the kids, why not we do it ourselves? Why should we wait for others to do the things that we feel is right? And I was mad again because she's right, right? I was like self-victimizing myself for the past 3 months, trying to convince other people to engage with the kids. But my wife just said, like, if there's no one is doing that, why not we do it ourselves, right? So and she really some sort of like reminded me that we have the control. We ourselves have all the rights and all the control towards the things that we wanted to do. So, and then that's where we started to like explore the options, like how do we do it? Like, can we started to talk to the person in charge in the shuttle home, asking them to let us in for every month on a weekly basis to teach those kids and all that stuff. So that's where we started the program first for nearly a year. So after a year, we started to see kids' positive transformation throughout the programs that we designed for them. And my wife, now this time it's my wife came to me and she said that like, hey, this boy initially was very shy, very rigid. Right now, he's expressing himself. He's very confident towards the words that he used and all that stuff. And then she started to say, if 1 year of the program outcome able to produce such wonderful positive result, what if we can prolong that program to 5 years, to 8 years, to even 10 years? And she really thinks that will help those kids to have a better future. So then we started to, and then I started to like put on my finance hat and question her about like, this is not sustainable, because for the past 1 year, we've been like forking up our money from our own pockets. We've been like sponsoring all the stationaries. We've been bringing kids out for activities. Everything was just coming out from our pockets. It's just not sustainable. If we want to like prolong it for 5 years, 10 years, that it just doesn't make sense. Then we started to like keep on discussing it, brainstorming, and then we saw one of the brands called Tom shoes, right? where they buy where they sell a shoes, they will give a pair of shoes to the children in needs. And we started to explore the concept of social enterprise. And then we think to ourselves, like, we might be able to turn this idea into social business, where we can build a viable business at the same time contributing to our community. So that's how the whole stories came about. And why clothing? It's because when we're doing those brainstorming, the very first thing that we know is that the programs that my wife developed has already been seeing positive changes from those kids. We are empowering and boosting the kids' confidence through our program. And if we want to become a social business, selling products, we hope that the products that we are selling able to create that same impact as well. So we started to explore like mugs, like bottles, like notebooks, pen, all sorts of products. But then after that, when we're discussing what kind of products that we want to sell, I was looking through those kids' artwork. So kids in the program, kids express their inner world, their stories, and they're learning through tons of artwork. So then as I looking through those artwork, and then I said, hey, it would be cool if this artwork printed in our shirts and all that stuff. And then we started like, that's one of the light bulb moment. And then we said, if our customers wearing it, and kids, like those kids who living in shelter home or the orphanages, they're able to see like this Coco and JJ is wearing my artwork. Like it's a very visual, direct impact on empowering as well. So, and then that's where we think we both of us know that it has to be clothing. It has to be a t-shirt first. It has to be apparel. It has to be something that adult is wearing it. And then that adult, it's like directly empowering the kids. So that's how the whole t-shirt thingy came about.
Yeah, I see. I feel like it's really interesting that your business really started off from a mission that you had and you and your wife had, and then how it kind of grew is also, you know, combining your wife's expertise in developing all these education programs and also from your finance background, right? So starting the question about how can you make this more sustainable, all the way to coming to the conclusion like, hey, we're going to sell apparels. It's all still tied back to the mission, and it's also linked to, you know, your finance background and your wife's background as well. So yeah, that's really interesting. So now kind of fast forward a little bit. We just want to also understand, you know, when you first started your business, of course, starting a business is a difficult thing, right? So can you share a little bit more about some of the challenges that you face and also how did you overcome them?
The very, very first challenge is that because I'm the youngest, I'm the youngest in my family. So I have like one elder brothers, three sisters, and so I'm the youngest one. So I am the most pampered one lah. So and I feel like because I feel like the reason why I'm bringing up this point is because being the most pampered child, like since young, my mom would do everything for me. He will make my bed, he will cook for me and all that stuff. He'll wash my laundry and dishes. So I seldom use my bare hand. I seldom like put my hands to do all those dirty works to start something with my bare hands. And the very first thing, like and right after I graduated, I get a corporate job. So in a corporate job, you don't exercise your hands like starting something, because being an entrepreneur, starting a business, you have to get your hands dirty. And I think the biggest challenge that I had back then is that a lot of stuff I trying to outsource to people. I trying to like ask other people to do for me and all that stuff, because I just don't want to get my hands dirty on because I don't have the habit of building things with my both hands lah. So but then as time goes, I feel like we all can train our body and our mind to do whatever things that we want. So that's the reason why right now every morning I started to do my own beds. I started to wash my own laundry. I started to do all kind of things with my both hands, because I feel like the more you use your hand, the more you move around, the easier for you to start a business from scratch, starting your business from zero, because you have that kind of habit to do stuff, to complete stuff, to make stuff. So that was the first challenge that I had back then. Then subsequently will be challenges like, because I wanted to venture into fashion industry, but then I have no knowledge or experience in fashion at all. Some may even question my fashion sense, but and then even I don't have any experience in building e-commerce or a website, doing how, I have no idea how to do digital marketing and all that stuff. If you want me to build a financial spreadsheet, I can able to do that in like 15 minutes, 10 minutes. But if you want to build a website from scratch, that was a big challenge for me. So I guess like that's the few of those challenges that I had back then. And sourcing fabric for our t-shirt was the major headache. It was like, it was really suffering, because we try to source fabric from all around Klang Valley, Johor, and all that, the other states, that we couldn't find fabric that we love ourselves. So we have to source fabric from China, from other countries, just to find the perfect fabric to build our first product. So all those things, like, and then we started to trying to figure out what kind of measurements or the fittings for our t-shirts. We bought like a lot of t-shirts from other brands just to see what their cuttings looks like, and trying to see their workmanship and all that stuff. So we learn a lot from doing shoppings, and we learn a lot from watching YouTubes and all that stuff lah. Yeah.
I see. So, yeah, you did mention that because obviously you come from a finance background, so maybe, things like marketing may not be your strong point, building a website and e-commerce may not be your strong point. So, maybe more specifically, how did you kind of pick those skills up, and like, were there some avenues that you kind of went to pick up those skills?
All right. Yeah. YouTube is the best, because technically I learned everything from YouTube itself. Um, so when so the very first idea of Havan, we always we knew that online is the way to go. So the biggest challenge for online will be the very first challenge is setting up a decent website. So that's where I started to like watch, I guess like 10,000 hours of YouTube learning, just to understand how to build a website. But then that was like five years ago, right? That was like 5 years ago. But right now, you can easily just build a website using Shopify, using Wix and all that stuff. Like back then, like mana ada that kind of technology, like it's not as friendly as right now. But yeah, I guess how I really learn those kind of things, it's through YouTube. And every night, it's like on the day I went for work, and then back home at night after dinner, I would like keep on watching YouTube, try and error, watch YouTube until like midnight, and then try testing out the website and all that stuff, building up from scratch, putting images and see is it nice and all that stuff. So for building website, I think it's like it's like something that you can teach yourself through watching other people's video on YouTube. Yeah.
So the current Havan Clothing website was built by you, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. It is still.
Wow. Right. So for someone who has, doesn't have any experience in building websites, I think it's pretty impressive. And I think one thing that I guess you've shared, which is really interesting, is that you sometimes don't really need to have a lot of preset skills, right, to start something, because as you know, in this day and age, we can always be very resourceful with our online platforms like YouTube, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of online courses as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So, right. So moving on to the next question. So let's talk a little bit about your business during the pandemic period. So were
Nice.
there any particular challenges that your business faced during the pandemic period, and how did you kind of adapt to it?
All right. So one of the biggest challenge that we had was um, we didn't know what to do, like how to react. That was like the first challenge, because we knew it's a problem, but we were just paralyzed, like we don't know what should we do and all that stuff. So and then we started to like look into our own current position. We realized that the MCO was last year, 18 March, right? And then about April itself, we started to look at our inventory, and we don't have much design or sizes in our office. Um, and the biggest problem for that is that if we don't have enough design or sizing, which means customer won't buy. When customer won't buy, it means we don't have revenue, we don't have sales, we will not have cash coming in. So the only way to do that is to restock, right? Bring in more inventory in. But the problem is MCO, during MCO, everybody's like closed down their business. So that was the biggest problem that we had. All the supply chain, all the production stops and all that stuff, and we couldn't get inventory. We couldn't print our design. All our suppliers been like saying closing down their factories because of MCO. So that was like the biggest issues that we had back then. But how do we overcome that? Was like we thought to ourselves, coming up new design but not having inventory. So we had our pre-order sales, and then we tell our customers saying that, hey, our production is stopped. Like we don't have much design right now, but we have plan of coming out new design, but it has to be pre-order. And when are we going to fulfill that pre-order? We have no idea. It probably will take 3 months, or maybe it will take half a year. So we wouldn't know until the government announce when the MCO is going to be lifted off, right? So that's how we communicate to our customers. And to our surprise, the sales starting coming in. So customers don't really care about like they will get their t-shirts tomorrow or 6 months later and all that stuff, as long as they know that all this while we are providing good products to them, at the same time providing social values to our community. So that's something that we are really grateful for. Yeah, correct.
Right. And actually, it also seems like your customer base is quite loyal, in the sense that they understand your business and your social cause as well. So when you were starting off this business and growing the business, how did you build this customer base?
That's a very great question. So before, like we even though we had that ideas, like putting all the design was inspired by the children, and then if we provide great fabric qualities, tailoring, Asian fitting, cutting t-shirt and all that stuff, selling at reasonable pricing, people will buy from us. But I guess like those are the very ideal version of starting a business. But we didn't start off that. When we had that idea, I remember I approached about 200 of my friends through WhatsApp. I'm telling them that, hey, I have this idea. It's a social enterprise. So we're gonna put kids artwork on t-shirts, and then the fabric is gonna be awesome. The pricing is reasonable. How much is it? I have no idea at that time, but are you interested in considering buying? If yes, give me your email. When we have enough, when we launch our products, then we will blast out our launching through the emails, and then you probably can consider in buying it. So that time I approached 200 of my friends, and in order for this idea to make sense, I have to get 150 emails from my friends. So with 150, that's where I think this idea is some sort of like somehow validated. So before I started the business, I managed to collect 150 emails within like 2 to 3 days. So that's where I think to myself, like this idea, it's validated, it's good enough for us to start. So then we started to bring in those inventory in, and then when we like officially launched the site and the design, that's where we blast the email to 150 people, and then they started coming in to buy and all that stuff. So we clear our first 300 pieces of t-shirt within 30 days. So that one is also like another validation for us. And then we use that money to buy more inventories, to come up with more design and other stuff lah. Yeah.
I see. So I guess it really started from you guys tapping into your immediate social networks
Yes,
also, right?
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Right, nice. So, okay, so now going back to the MCO,
Yeah.
so yeah, like, currently the MCO, the pandemic is still kind of going on. So with a lot of uncertainty caused by the pandemic, how are you planning to help your business to recover from the MCO or even maintain or grow?
So because what we have learned back then was inventory really like a stuck point for us. If we don't have inventory, that's where the whole business will probably stop operating. And I don't think it's fair for us to keep on having a pre-order campaigns like every time when we don't have inventory and all that stuff lah. So for this year, we go very aggressively in terms of bringing in more design and inventory. So probably like our customers will be expecting more design, more new products from us on May onwards lah. So I guess like what we have learned right now is like we have to get in more inventory fast, and before the like touch wood, hopefully there won't be like 3.0 MCO and all that stuff. But at this moment, we have to do it very fast in the sense like bringing in inventory. And of course, we are also exploring the ideas of pre-order. Like we're also exploring the ideas of collaborating with other brands, like they have the inventory as well, and then we try to like collaborate with them, putting our kids artwork into their clothing. But we right now still prioritize on building up our inventory internally, and then building up brands. Putting up our brand stories to our customers. Yeah, that's the main strategy right now we have.
I see. So seems like the main strategy is really about kind of keeping the inventory so that you're able to sustain if another MCO hits. Hopefully not, but yes.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
Yeah.
I see. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, great. So now enough about the MCO. We want to find out more about what is your business proudest achievement to date?
I really had many, but one of the first proudest moment was we got invited to United States, Washington, D.C. So one of the fashion show hosts, they had this some sort of like also fashion plus charity shows in Washington, D.C. And then they got to know about our brand, and then they approached us saying that, hey, do you mind if Havan sponsor them those t-shirts so that they can put in a runway at the show itself. And then to us, we really feel like that's a very good idea, because we can proudly proudly tell our kids that your artwork has been not only just reached the Malaysia, but like it traveled to United States, Washington, and showcasing to all the people there. And then of course I was like trying my luck. I said, hey, do you mind like sponsoring me over, because I would like to witness the moment as well. Then and then the host said, yes, come on by, I'll sponsor the air tickets, I sponsor the stay, the food and whatever it is. So just bring all the t-shirts with you, and then we will make things happen. So I was really proud watching the fashion show runway, that those model wearing our kids' artwork, like, and then I was like, I remember I had taken my phone, I was like taking my phone and then recording, and then my hand was shaking because I was really excited the whole idea. And then because the reason I want to record it, because I want to show it to those kids that everything is possible. Like don't care about your circumstances, don't care about whatever situation that you are in, because if you put in some work in, put in some effort into your work, the potential of your work is limitless. You can reach to United States fashion show. So this is like one of the messages that we want to tell those kids. So I guess like that's our first proudest moment. Like the moment that I wouldn't have the experience if I stay in my corporate job. So yeah, I think it was the not just proud but fun experience for me as well.
Wow, all the way to the United States. I'm sure the
Yeah,
kids were really excited as well.
correct. Yeah, when we told, like saying that they say, oh, Ivan Gogo is going to Washington DC because some fashion show organizer wanted to take your clothing. Then all the kids like, yeah, man, got such thing, man. Is it a scam? Is this? So yeah, but then when I show them the video, then that's where I feel like they also feel very proud of themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a huge confidence boost also for the kids, right?
Correct,
Yeah, and
correct.
then for you and your wife, I'm sure it's the moment where you felt like, I guess, like, oh, this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
This is,
so the
yeah.
confidence boost is not only just the kids lah, but also towards
Mm,
my Henny and I. Like we have never done all this stuff. We have never ventured into business. We have never ventured into fashion. But then all this kind of validation really really gave us a lot of confidence. So
mm.
initially we thought we are in a business trying to empower the kids, but we didn't expect that in that process, we both of us got empowered as well. Yeah.
That's very nice to hear. Um, yeah, so moving on. So can you also share with us here one entrepreneur who you admire and explain why and how they have inspired you?
All right, right. So when I had that question, the very straightforward answer was like, oh, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, because they are very adventurous, they are bold, they make big decisions that impact life and all that stuff. But then I started to think deeper. To be honest, I don't really know them. Like I've never talked to them and all that stuff. So probably that was not the right answer for me. And thank you for that question. And I started to like ponder, like think deeper. And I realized that probably one of the entrepreneurs that I admire the most right now would be my dad. So my dad used to own a small business helping people fixing electronics like radio, TV, fridge, and all that stuff. Back then was like 90s lah. So it's a very small business, but the reason why I'm right now thinking about it, I'm really admired my dad. It was because uh, like he was able to um, bring up five kids because of what he was doing. And I think back then, like 80s and 90s, having a small business and then you have 5 kids, and it's not easy. I guess it's not easy to sustain. We don't have like a very luxury lifestyle and other stuff, but then my dad was really putting a lot of hard work when he was having his own business, and every night, every day when I was like kindergarten, I used to hang out in his small little shops, and then my dad would probably just hunchback and then wearing glasses, putting up magnifying glass, and trying to fix those electrical devices. And he used to like look a lot of those books, trying to study. Like when he encountered a lot of stuff that he don't know how to fix, he will read a lot, and he would just sit at the corner there and just always been learning how to fix stuff. And some sort of like and that memory some sort of like resonate with me right now, because when I started Havan, I was sitting at the corner watching YouTube, trying to learn the website, trying to learn the digital marketing, and I feel like one of I think I think that was one of the best quality that I had because of my dad. Unconsciously lah, all right. My dad, so I was like observing him, and then I myself like doing all those learning, I think it's because of him that I have the ability to like really put in all the learning hours alone, trying to sit at the corner of to try to learn new stuff and all that stuff. I guess this is what I pick up from my dad lah. Yeah, so and I think that was like and one of the things is that what I learned from my dad is because he was he really passionate with electronics. He was really passionate with not electronics, sorry, fixing stuff. He's really like when whatever house stuff that needed to be fixed, he would be the first person to go over and try to fix the stuff. And sometimes things that are not broken, he also tried to fix it. And I guess like he also taught me in the sense like we all have to do something that we are passionate about. And to me, I think he's very lucky because at a very young age, he knew exactly what he wanted to do in his life. Until right now, he's 70 years old. He's still like fixing stuff and all that stuff. So and then that, I guess, because of that kind of spirit, it also gave me some sort of like a unconsciously asking myself when I was having this crisis, like the quarter life crisis. I started like questioning myself why I don't have any passion in life, what's my purpose, why dad is realizing his own potential, but I'm still like trying to figure out myself and other stuff. So I guess like because of my dad, a lot of stuff happening. Like I am who I am today. I guess it's because of him. Yeah.
Nice. It really does seem like you picked up a lot of your entrepreneurship skills from your dad directly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So this is my last question from me. So we have a lot of young people here tuning in today. And do you think young people should start their own business, and why?
Yeah, I guess probably it's not a question anymore. Like, should you start a business? I think you should start a business because so the status quo is after you have studied, then you get a job, right? So these are the things that people has planned for us, ma. So I think like and when you landed up in a job, that also won't guarantee success, because you won't be guaranteed that you will get promotion. You won't guarantee that your pay will increase every year on 30% and all this stuff. Nothing is guaranteed. So if nothing is guaranteed, why not start something that will make your heart like sing, right? Why not start something that will make yourself happy? So I guess yes, we should start our own business. And starting a business also means that we should try it. Starting a business, is it suitable for us? Is this starting a business is also part of your calling? Because never try, never know, right? So who knows that once you have started a business, but then you say this is not the lifestyle or this is not who I am, of then looking for jobs. The jobs is always there, right? So, and starting a business, the younger you start, the better lah. So yeah, I think everybody should give it a try in starting a business.
All right. Thanks so much for your sharing, Ivan. So we will now move on to the Q&A session, which is where we will answer the audience questions. All right. So the first question that someone would like to know from you is, please describe your plan on fulfilling the social promise.
All right. So our promise is that we wanted to reach 1,000 children over the next 5 years. So initially, we thought that in order to reach that 1,000 children, the more teachers that we hire, the more teachers that we train, the more children we are able to reach out to. So that was the initial theory, initial logic. But then as we in this business, we start to realize that it's not the case. We have to build some sort of awareness, building up demands for the programs that we have. If we tell people EQ, because our program is all about EQ, is all about empowering the children, it's all about building up kids' characters and behavior. But then if the market has no knowledge about it or they are not ready about it, it's really hard for us to firstly get more teachers, because not even teachers have that kind of awareness. It's really hard for us to do that. At the same time, our customers might not know the importance of building up EQ, building up confidence as well. So without the awareness building or demands building, it's really hard for us to scale. Even though we spend money to hire teachers, to train teachers, that also won't be sustaining. So right now, our current strategy is within the next 3 years, we want to spend more effort in the sense building awareness, becoming some sort of advocate towards empowerment children, becoming an advocate towards EQ learning. We try to do more sharing about the importance of it, and then why EQ able to benefit the underserved or the underprivileged community. So the more we educate that part, the more awareness that we build, then getting in more volunteers, getting in more teachers to join our tribes, to join our cause will be much more easier. So therefore, in order for us to reach 1,000, we have so the first 2 to 3 years is where we want to build the groundwork. The groundwork meaning building up awareness itself. So how do we build awareness? We want to do a lot more sharings. We want to one of the sharings is like this, one of our sharing, doing a lot of webinars, sharings, so that it will reach mass people about the ideas. Then only we started recruiting more teachers or collaborating with more NGOs, and then putting our content to them, training them so that they can carry our content to reach out to more children. Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Thanks for answering that question. So the final question that we have for you is, how do you deal with competition in business?
So one thing of being a startup, it's you are really, really busy until the point that you kind of forget about your competition. For me, I was really busy doing packing, customer service, and all this stuff. I was competition, trying to learn about competition. It was my least priority lah. But on a serious note, I think as a startup, like we are still call ourselves a startup, and I think to me, I think when like your business was very small, competition to me it's irrelevant, because your competition might be 5 times bigger than you, 10 times bigger than you, 20 times bigger than you. So there's no point that you trying to compete with them, because you are going to lose. You are going to lose in the sense like you try to compete with them. Instead, for startup stage, what I'm doing right now is just ignoring the competition. I'm just putting all my energy in terms of serving my customers. So maybe when in the growth stage where we have certain market share, then trying to understand and learn more and trying to counter competition might be more relevant. That's just my theory lah. Other people might have their own theories for that. But then to me right now, in a very startup stage, we don't really take competition seriously. We are busy serving our customers. We are busy serving our community. So that's our priority.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that answer.
No problem.
Yeah, so that's all of the questions that we have for you today,
Nice.
Ivan.
Nice.
So thank you so much for your insight, Ivan.
No problem.
And everyone, that was Ivan from Havan Clothing sharing about his experience at Tauke Talks, brought to you by RYSE and supported by Citi Foundation. So I think what was really striking to me was that you and your wife really started off this business really because you had a mission to empower underprivileged children with underprivileged backgrounds, and you kind of combined your expertise with your wife's expertise and kind of started this whole business and got it going. And I think what I also found really insightful was that you had no prior experience in starting a business, so a lot of it was learning from scratch and getting your hands dirty and learning a lot of different things from the resources that you can reach. So I think that was very insightful for me, and I hope that was for the participants too. So everyone, if you enjoyed this session, do sign up for our next Tauke Talk session, which is with Lai from 71. So 71 is also a social enterprise. So if you're interested, do sign up at bit.ly/Tauke71. Right. So next week's session will actually be an afternoon session, so it's 3 p.m. So if you're interested to learn more about starting a business and you don't know how to, don't know where to start, RYSE Online is a free beginners online course for Malaysians to learn at your own pace about the basics of building a small business from scratch. So this course actually starts now, as in it has already started, so you can sign up now. The course will close on the 30th of July, so do sign up as soon as possible, and you will have access until July. If you're Malaysian, age 18 to 28, you will also stand a chance to win seed funding up to 10,000 ringgit. Terms and conditions apply. So start today by signing up at bit.ly/RYSEonline2021. So it's in the chat box. Yep. So if you'd like to learn more about our upcoming Tauke Talk session, do like and follow us on Tauke Talks on Facebook and Instagram, and also our YouTube. And if you'd like to find out more about RYSE programs, do check out our social media as well. So thank you so much for being with us here today. And thank you so much, Ivan, for spending your Wednesday evening with us.
No problem, no problem. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.